Hello, and welcome to the Financial Literacy course presented by the Waco New Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, where we will aim to arm Waco and surrounding areas monthly with tools and tips to manage your finances with confidence. The key takeaway from this episode is your credit history can affect your access to credit, loans, jobs, housing, insurance, and other important services. Understanding your rights helps you know how to protect your credit history. You may have heard the term credit report, but perhaps you never looked at one. Maybe you shopped for an apartment and been told that the landlord first has to look at your credit report, or you were told a lender reviewed your credit after you applied for a loan, or you've heard on the news how important it is to review your credit report. Here are 13 common assumptions about what is listed on a credit report. However, most of them are wrong. Take 10 seconds to review the list and see which ones you believe are on a credit report. Alrighty, so number one, of course, your name. Your full legal name is in the personal or identifying information section. Your age is actually not included, but your birthday is, so someone could easily calculate your age there. Arrests and convictions are not included as well. They could be on an employment background report made by other consumer reporting agencies. Of course, your credit card payments are definitely included, along with the name of the financial institutions they were issued from and other account information. Number 5, your income is not listed on your credit report. Bankruptcies, yes, of course. Number 7, cell phone plan payments are usually not included. However, if you don't pay your bills on time, late payments would likely end up on your credit report. Number 8, debt-to-income ratio. No, the ratio is not included on your credit report. However, lenders may use information on your debts from the credit report to calculate the ratio to decide to lend or not. And number 9, student loan payments, of course, are included. Payment history for federal and private student loans are included on your credit report. These loans are also included in the credit reports of people who co-sign for those student loans. Credit card limits are included along with the total balance and the estimated minimum payment owed. Number 11, traffic tickets and fines are generally not included on the credit report. The same is true for unpaid gym memberships that have gone to collection. You still need to pay your debts, but these items are no longer included on your credit report. Number 12, savings account balance. No, these are not in a credit report. Checking account balances are also not in a credit report. And debit card purchases, no, they are not included as they are withdrawals from your checking account and your own personal funds. To summarize, credit reports are documents that list your identifying information, such as your name and your address, your debts, and some of the bills you pay to businesses, financial institutions, or other organizations and agencies that extended you credit. Of course, this includes credit cards and your maximum amount, as well as your monthly payments. This also includes home mortgages. Information on the amount of the mortgage and payments will be in a credit report. Rent payments may or may not be depending on the lender. Many bills or debts that you pay on a regular basis are not listed on a credit report. And in some cases, such as with many utility bills, the information is only reported if you do not pay a bill as agreed. Accounts and collection are also included. This includes when a creditor may charge off the debt and assign or sell the debt to a debt collector. Assigning a debt means that you hire the debt collector to collect the debt on their behalf. Debts that have gone to collection have their own section. Medical debts that have gone to collections would be included as well. And public record information such as bankruptcies and foreclosures or serious delinquent child support payments will end up on your credit report. Companies that make credit reports can be called credit reporting agencies, credit bureaus, or credit reporting companies. There are 3 nationwide credit reporting agencies: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. If you have a credit history, you likely have at least 3 separate credit reports, one from each of these nationwide credit reporting agencies, and you do have a right to see those reports with one full report offered a year. In addition to the 3 nationwide credit reporting agencies, there are also specialty consumer reporting companies. They provide reports that help other companies make decisions about providing consumers with products and services. For example, that includes accounts at financial institutions, employment, rental housing, insurance, and cell phone plans. Some of these companies may have reports with information about you, and you do have a right to see those reports as well. You can get more information at consumerfinance.gov and search for consumer reporting agencies. So what is a credit score? Credit scores are numbers based on information in your credit reports. They predict the likelihood that you will pay your bills and debts as agreed. People with better or higher credit scores are likely to present a lower risk to creditors than people with lower credit scores. Higher credit scores indicate that you have paid your bills and debts as agreed in the past and are likely to do so in the future. So of course, a large amount of companies and institutions do use the credit report. Financial institutions use them to determine whether you can get a credit card or other type of loan. They also use them to determine your credit limit or the maximum amount of money that they will loan to you. Some also use credit reports to determine if you can open a checking or savings account or what type of account you can open. Landlords might use them to decide if they will rent an apartment to you and perhaps to set your security deposit. Individuals with credit reports that have negative information may not be able to rent some apartments or may need to pay a higher security deposit or have someone co-sign the apartment lease. Utility companies can use them to decide whether you will have to pay a security deposit and the amount of the deposit. Some cell phone companies use them to determine your eligibility for their plans. Individuals with credit reports that have negative information and low credit scores may only be offered prepaid or month-to-month phone plans. Some states also allow insurance companies to use information from your credit reports to decide whether they will sell you insurance and how much it will cost. Also, some employers might use them to perform background checks for potential employees depending on state law. You can find out if credit information can be used in employment decisions in your state by contacting that state Department of Labor. In Texas, where we are, they can. Some state agencies or affiliated organizations may use them to determine eligibility for some professional licenses, such as licenses for mortgage loan originators. Credit reports and scores may also be used as one factor for risk-based pricing. Other factors can include your employment history and outstanding debts. With risk-based pricing, lenders set interest rates and other loan terms based on the estimated risk that a particular consumer will not repay the loan as agreed. Lenders may charge you a higher interest rate if they view you as a higher risk borrower, perhaps because you are several payments behind on a mortgage or credit card, you don't have reliable income, or you have declared bankruptcy. And lenders may offer you a lower interest rate if they view you as a lower risk, perhaps because you have a high credit score and stable employment. A lender must tell you if they have used your credit reports or scores to make a lending decision about you, or if they offered you less favorable terms than other borrowers based on your credit reports or scores. If the lender denied offering you credit, you will receive an adverse action notice. If the lender offered you less favorable terms, you'll receive a risk-based pricing notice. This notice must provide information about how you can get a free credit report, the specific credit score that they use to make their decision, the score range, and the negative factors affecting the score. This report is in addition to the free credit report you are entitled to every 12 months from each of the nationwide credit reporting agencies. Having no credit reports or scores may not sound so bad, but you miss out on some opportunities if you don't have them. Some people call this being credit invisible. Without a good credit history, you may have harder time accessing things such as getting credit or a loan when you need it, renting an apartment of your choice, getting a favorable cell phone plan, obtaining some jobs, turning on utilities without having to pay a large deposit. Not having a credit history may be the result of circumstances, or it could be a choice. Maybe someone just entered the country, or maybe someone just prefers always paying for everything in cash. It can also be because someone doesn't understand the importance of having credit history. So while you might be under the assumption that having a credit history is better than a credit history with negative info, it can hinder you from major opportunities. An important thing to know about credit and other consumer reporting is that you have rights. The Fair Credit Reporting Act is the federal law that establishes those rights. And why is it important to know them? Because often there are companies who do misinterpret or will leave something on your credit that should have fallen off, that you can make sure that you are not being taken advantage of by knowing these rights. First off, anyone who uses a credit report to deny your application or offer you less favorable terms for credit, insurance, or employment must tell you why they did so. Number two, you have the right to know what is in each of your credit reports. You'll be required to prove who you are, of course, whenever you do request those, but you can at annualcreditreport.com. You do have the right as well to dispute incomplete or inaccurate information. The credit reporting agency must investigate unless you dispute is frivolous. Credit and other consumer reporting agencies must correct or delete inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable information, usually within 30 days after they receive a dispute. Consumer reporting agencies may not report outdated negative information. For example, this includes most unpaid debts that are more than 7 years old. Access to your credit report is limited to people or businesses with a valid business need to use it. This includes an application with the creditor, insurer, employer, landlord, and other businesses. Your credit reports will not be provided to employers unless you give your consent, and this consent must also be in writing. You can opt out of receiving certain unsolicited offers for credit or insurance based on what is in your credit reports. You can do this by going to optoutprescreen.com. That's OPTOUTPRE screen SCREEN.com. And if you aren't able to resolve a problem affecting your credit report, you can seek help. Submit a complaint by calling 855-411-2372 or going to consumerfinance.gov. Many people don't want to receive pre-screen offers of credit and insurance. Opting out reduces unwanted mail and information that could be used to steal your identity. You can opt out of receiving pre-screen offers of credit and insurance for a 5-year period, or you can opt out permanently. If you opt out, you can also decide to opt back in. To opt out for 5 years or to opt out permanently, you will still go to the same optoutprescreen.com and choose your desired form. Opting out will stop the pre-screen solicitations that are based on lists from these major consumer reporting companies. You may continue to get solicitations for credit and insurance based on lists from other sources. For example, opting out will end solicitations from local merchants, religious and charitable organizations, professional and alumni associations, and companies with which you already do business. To stop mail from groups like these, as well as mail addressed to occupant or resident, you must contact each source directly. I know. You cannot, however, opt out of having a credit report. The data and information belongs to the credit reporting agencies that collect and store it. In closing, for credit reports, remember your credit history can affect your access to credit, loans, jobs, housing, insurance, and other important services. But understanding your rights helps you know how to protect your credit history and receive the financial services that you are requesting. So of course, we thank you today for joining us, the Waco Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, on our financial literacy course, where we will aim monthly to arm Waco and surrounding areas with tools and tips to manage your finances with confidence. This has been episode 1, Credit Reports. Thank you. And bye-bye.